Hi everyone, I'm here with Sigrun Saunderson today, one of the Academy teachers and soul-based coach. Sigrun, how do
Yeah.
you navigate the storms?
Mhm. The current storms, right? Which have
Yeah.
been lasting for years now. Yeah. Um, I was thinking about that today, and it's basically there are two lines of navigating, It's like the one is how do I actually calm down my nervous system physically, because it's a physical thing, right? Very much. Um, And I do that because I do sense, even in my nervous system, I sense it sometimes with pain. And that very often is because of all this happening around.
Mm,
So what helps me is regular sessions of guided yoga nidra meditations, because they really, really calm down my nervous system. It super helps me a lot. Um, That's the physical side. And then, of course, going out into the sunshine, things like that, that's all. It's really doing this on purpose when I feel I'm getting all wad, you know. And the other thing, though, is more mental practice. Is that mental? Is that the word? I explain that. It's more, the storm, I experience the storm as war, no matter if we talk about war happening in places or just even in our smaller environments, it's a lot of this war energy everywhere. And that's what can really unsettle me big time. And the way I deal with that is by trying to not take a side. And how can I not take a side? That's by always looking on both sides. Because in war, as we know, all sides lie all the time. There's no matter what kind of war we speak about, but there's all sides have their own view, let's say, which is then perceived by the other side as a lie, and they also do lie. So I try to not fall into one side while still um, being on the side of what for me is the right thing or the good thing or the truth or whatever. So I need to constantly discern, and I do that actually. And that helps me to stay in my inner peace when I
and
don't take sides.
I imagine that this is not an easy practice. I don't think I could do it. Um,
Yeah.
and, and as you say, a lot of it is dependent on that discernment.
Mm,
How does that work for you?
mhm, mhm. Very practically, when I feel some message or news, whatever, some message is getting to me emotionally, I start to research. Really, I'll just check, is that really true? And then very often I find out, well, it wasn't quite like that. Some of it might be true, but another part of the story has been left out, or, and that way, it doesn't mean then, oh, it's not so bad. Not at all. But it keeps me in this position of not having to take sides and trying, of course, to see a bigger picture. And that is is my inner peace.
Mm, that bigger picture helps you
Mm,
experience that inner peace.
yeah, yeah.
And
Although it's unsettling. Also,
yeah,
the bigger picture is very unsettling.
mm.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about that relationship between that bigger picture being very unsettling and that inner peace that you
Mm,
get from having that in bigger picture?
mm. The inner peace comes from not taking sides. Because as soon as you're on a side, you're in war. And that is true for a war that happens with weapons and soldiers and so on. But it also happens with a war that's just about two opinions. And I do have opinions, and I do voice them, and I enjoy discussing. I love it, but never to that extent, or try, let's say, to that extent that I experience the other as an enemy. And that's where, because as soon as you start to see the enemy instead of, okay, that's a different viewpoint, and I might find it totally wrong, and I can voice that, but the person or the group of people, they're not my enemy, and I'm not theirs. And as soon as I forget that and view them as enemies, I get very unsettled. I
Mm.
really feel war inside myself.
Mm. So really, and like
Mm.
I'm trying on what you're saying,
Mm.
and I'm noticing that it's not easy for me. So it brings me an interesting inquiry into where those distinctions are for me,
Yeah.
because we know from soul-based coaching that everybody has their own way of perceiving and noticing the world.
Mm.
Um, and that question of like a question that comes up for me is when do I feel like I'm at war? Like
Mhm.
when um and I don't have the answer. So
Mm. Mhm.
this makes me curious.
Mm.
Because it's not always easy these days to
No.
see the slightly wider picture, at least. Um, are there situations in the world where you're like, well, morally, obviously, that is right, that is wrong,
Oh, absolutely, all the time,
all the
all the
time?
time. Yeah, yeah. Especially, but what I find totally wrong is lying. And no
Yes.
matter which side, and there are these sides,
Mm,
constantly produced, and both sides try to pull us on their side, basically, no matter what topic you're talking about. Nowadays, it's really all over the place. And I am, of course, also on a side in different topics, but I try not to go too far in because it's really, that's where it ends in dehumanizing people. And that's for me also a sign, as soon as somebody or a group of people are being dehumanized, no matter on which side, that's wrong. And that's where I draw the line, doesn't matter which side, it's the thing you say or do that I
mm,
don't like,
hmm.
not the side you're on.
All right. And so again, kind of trying to pull
Mhm.
apart what that
Mhm.
entails for you. Um, does so that does that mean that there are like should there be consequences to some of the things that are happening in the world right now for you? Or like so what I'm
Uh,
noticing is the more that I'm finding out about, and we can kind of talk about specifics, but I'm noticing I want to stay away from them. But
exactly.
also,
I
it's like
know.
that kind of like,
That's where we are.
oh,
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
when we're talking about Palestine,
That's a perfect example.
how do you
Mm.
look at what's going on then?
From my point of view, I simply don't know. I don't know how this can be solved. I just, I can see that either side is doing horrible things, and that, you know, and I can't even ask the question who started it, and I think it doesn't help anyway. Um, in this case, I really don't know, and this is a place where I can stay as well. I
Mm,
really don't know. There are other topics where I feel I do know, you know.
hmm.
But in this case, I cannot say where, and it's a, I think it's a valid place to be, you know.
Yeah.
But then I'm in a country that has been neutral for what, 80 years now or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that place. You know, I think it's very valuable. But neutral doesn't mean, oh, everything is okay, everything is equal. No, that's not what it means. It's just, I don't go on one side. I am the safe space. As a country now, Austria would be was, not anymore, but used to be a safe space where sides can talk to each other, you know? And that's, I think, so valuable. And that's where I want to be also in my small life, in my small environment.
The space where the
Place.
sides can talk to each other,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. Also
Yeah.
inside of me, you know, the sides talk to each other, like Palestine, Israel, they can talk to each other inside me. And then I know maybe a little bit more, I don't know, but you know, I can't do anything about it
Mm,
in that case.
mm. It's really interesting. My system works very differently in
Mhm.
this respect, and I think we know this about each other as
Yeah,
well. Um,
absolutely.
so there is, for me, there is
Mhm.
more of a, well, there is international agreements, there is
Mhm.
international regulations, there's international war, like
Mhm.
what's the word? Regulations, let's put
Mhm.
it like that. And they're clearly being violated.
Yeah.
So that's like, and so for me, there is that means that there is a call
Mhm.
to stop this
Mhm.
now, like and
Oh,
without any like. So I guess the danger, like I really appreciate there being space where sides can speak. I think
mhm.
that's incredibly important,
Mhm.
and um, and they're getting rarer and rarer, I think,
Mm.
as well. So I really value that. Um, and I also think that there's places where it's really important to speak up
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
the Palestinians can't speak up for themselves in this setting. Um, so that's where my kind of like
But
inquiry then
yeah,
leads to.
yeah. But
Yeah.
we are not that far apart, I must say, because this has to stop now. It's totally in my system as well.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, I don't care who started it, you know, stop it now.
Mm,
And that would be always what I would always say, you know,
yeah.
stop it. Stop the violence, stop the war, stop this dehumanizing
Yes.
of the other side, and they all do it on both sides, I'm sure. So that has to stop.
Mm,
I don't care who does what, just stop it and then have the space to talk. And
yeah. So it's
and for that, both sides have to be listened to. Even
yes.
even if well, both sides will think the other side is the bad one, you know. Yes. And that's what has to be out in the open, not for them, you know, not for me. I'm not involved really, but that has to be out in the open and has to be talked about and has to be valued.
Mm. It reminds me of South Africans
Mm,
truth. Oh, was it? I only know this in Dutch. Like the truth committees.
mm,
Were about reconciliation. But that can only
mhm.
happen once violence has stopped. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
And so your way of navigating is about calming your nervous system.
Always.
And yeah, exactly.
Mm,
And then um, not taking a side, but researching,
yeah, yeah.
knowing more, understanding more, and finding this bigger truth where you can be in your inner peace
Mhm,
and have space for multiple sides,
mhm,
even within you, so that
mhm,
there can be conversation
mhm, mhm,
mm,
mhm. Instead of war.
instead of war.
Because the war that I'd participate in outside will be in me.
Mm, yeah.
Mm,
These are really juicy and important conversations to have, I think,
Mm,
because it's not so much of it is much bigger than us, right?
mhm,
We can't, it's not within our power to do anything right now about the situation in Gaza, for
yeah,
example.
mm,
And at the same time, we are the people that create the world that we live in. So I find that
mhm,
a very
mm,
interesting
mm,
um, um, place where
mhm,
these
mhm,
things meet.
mm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
Mm,
Yeah, I think it helps a lot to listen to people who promote peace or a peaceful mindset.
mm,
And I'm not saying I always have a peaceful mindset. No, but that's what I want to have. That's what I'm striving for. And whenever I am in that, I feel good. I feel calm. I feel I can live with all this.
mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Do you have any suggestions for people that live in that mindset?
Um, Charles Eisenstein, and I don't say I love everything he says. I don't even know everything he says. So, but he has some valuable stuff that he says and writes about that. And there's a Swiss guy, got his name now again. He's a real peacemaker or a peace. He speaks a lot about peace.
You're thinking of Thomas Hubel.
No, 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 he's alive.
Yeah, Thomas Hubel is alive as
Oh,
well.
okay, I don't know. Yeah. Uh,
He might be German. Yeah.
now he's, yeah, okay. Yeah, I can't find him now. Um, I'll I'll send you that.
Yep,
Mm,
that's good.
mm.
Thank you. All right. So listen to
Just
people who have that peaceful mindset.
mm, mm,
Mm,
helps a lot.
mm, great.
And
Thank you,
speak out.
Sigrun.
I do speak out. I speak or speak up is the word, right? I do whenever I'm um, believing something. I'm not saying don't speak out. No,
Mm.
not at all.
But
Mm.
finding a way to do that without dehumanizing
Yeah. Mm,
anyone.
mm, mm.
Interesting. Thank you so much. It gives me food
Thank
for
you.
thought, and
Yeah.
I hope other people too. So let us know your thoughts, and see you soon.
Mm.
Bye bye,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you, Sigrun.